Today is one of those days where I was on the verge of just curling up in my bed, my nice warm bed in the back, and watching movies all afternoon, or getting dressed and going to the library to knock out some job applications. And as you can see, I'm on my feet. I'm just having a little, just enjoying a little cappuccino here before I get going to the library. So there's a very slight snow flurry starting right now. Hey, thanks to all you guys who have just recently joined on Patreon. It seems this $7 for April thing is really popular. So yeah, go check it out if you want to see a lot of my backlogged privated videos. There's tons of content there. So yeah, I'm just going to talk about some comments on the last video and we have a little discussion. So this one didn't get the most liked, but this guy brought up a very good point. In my last video, I said that I don't regret that I'm not financially equal to somebody my age because I have my experiences behind me. And that if I go to a party, I can talk about my life. And what can they talk about? All they can talk about is their possessions. So it was a good comment because it's actually true. When when I tell people that I lived in Japan and Uganda for the past 25 years, there's really not a lot for people to grab onto in terms of relatability. Very rarely can I get very far in a conversation where that's where I start the conversation with. And when I get Lyft passengers, I kind of gauge how if they're open to conversation or not. Some people just they want to go from point A to point B, not get personal or anything. Some people want to talk. I don't bring it up actually. I don't tell people that I I just came back to the United States after 25 years. I don't talk about it because what I discovered is that just people can't relate to it. In fact, like, when somebody brings up a topic and you're trying to make a conversation with them, you struggle in your mind to find a point of relatability. But if somebody brings up something so just out of your wheelhouse of knowledge, like you just can't turn it into a conversation. A question I get asked from a lot of passengers is, are you from here? And here is like, it could be when I was in Billings, it could be when I was in Rochester, Minnesota, it could be when I was in Tennessee, Iowa. I mean, I've been many places, right? Since I've been traveling all across the country. And just usually to keep things simple and light, I just say I'm from California. But that's even hard. I did grow up in California, but it's even hard for me to talk about California really, because the last time I lived in California was 30 years ago. Anyways, I thought it was a good comment, and it's true actually. People really, most Americans, they really can't talk about much if it doesn't relate to the United States. I mean, the only way I'll really get into a conversation about my life is if I know the person's interested and they have time for a long conversation. But with people I just meet in a casual setting, I usually avoid talking in depth about myself and I just ask them a lot of questions. And people love to be asked questions about themselves. So, not that I use it as like a tactical social ploy, but it does kind of get people to warm up to me. And sometimes they'll leave me a nice tip after I take the conversation, after I direct the conversation into questions about them and their life. Okay, so the most liked comment was this one. And I've read this comment a lot, or comments similar to this one a lot in my videos. And it's like, well, you can live in a car. Why don't you live in a truck? Like, be a trucker. You'd have more space and you're getting paid. And yeah, I mean, that I actually looked into that. The problem was, uh, you know, I wanted to get with a good company that was going to pay me decently and also that would support and pay for my commercial driver's license training. I called a few companies, and what it came down to is that they just would not hire out of Florida. I have a Florida license, and my residential address is in Southern Florida, so they, for whatever reason, they don't hire out of Southern Florida. And it's just so retarded to me because I'm not even in Florida. Like, I'm ready to go. Uh, but that's a major roadblock I hit. Let me check right now. I mean, one of the biggest trucking companies that newbies go to is called Swift. Let's see if they'll hire out of Southern Florida. Okay, well, that's interesting, but I don't want to work for Swift. I've read their reviews and it's just they run those guys to a grind. And okay, one thing I just really don't want to do, but I do think is totally necessary, is you're going to share a truck with a dude. You're going to be basically in his truck. He's your trainer. And see what happens is when you go through training at a company, you're basically going to be in a dude's truck for, I mean, it depends on the company, but it's something like 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, like think about that. You're on a road with a dude and hopefully he's like professional and nice, but like you're in this really enclosed space. Like think about this. You're in this small enclosed space with another dude breathing his farts. At night he's like jerking off, the top bunk is shaking, he's making grunting and groaning sounds like an animal. I mean, I don't know how you women do it. I don't know how you live with men. And then you got a situation where you got two straight men living with each other. I mean, that's just sounds like a recipe for disaster. But on the other hand, I do think it's necessary because if you've never been a trucker on the road, like there's so many details you need to learn. So I do think it's necessary. So I was trying to find the program with the least amount of living in another dude's truck. And I think I found one that was like going to be about 3 weeks, and the pay was decent. That's another thing. Oh, and also when they pay for your CDL, commercial driver's license training, when they pay for that, you're locked into a contract where basically if you don't work for them for, let's say, 15 months, and you have to pay some of that money back or all of it. I don't know. Now, I really like this idea of working 6 months and then taking 6 months off. Something you didn't mention in the comment is when you're a beginning trucker. Okay, so first, if you rely on them for your CDL training, you get locked into a year and a half contract. Uh, Another thing is, I looked up the beginning salary for a fresh off the boat trucker, new trucker, and they're making like $3,000 a month maybe before taxes, which I mean and they're running. I'm assuming they're just running all day long, 16 hours a day, and basically the only time that they get to take off is to sleep. Let's be generous and say they're working 12 to 16 hours a day, which I don't mind doing, but not for $3,000 a month. Like we got to get towards 5,000 and up if I'm going to work that many hours. And if we're talking about $3,000, I can make that doing Uber and Lyft in a month, working 5 or 6 hours a day, not 12 to 16 hours a day. So that's unappealing to me. However, I do understand that it's like, okay, your first year is just sacrifice. Don't worry about the salary. But, it looks like once you've put in a year of trucking, your salary can jump up significantly. So that would kind of, I would have to adopt that thinking, just like, okay, just fuck my whole first year being a trucker, just accept the shit salary and the long hours for, like, do that so that in the following years, I could do this idea in the comment, like the comment said, you know, work 6 months and then take 6 months off. I don't really know how that works. I mean, what do you do when you get hired? Do you tell them that you only intend to work for 6 months out of the year, and they agree to that? Like, I don't think a lot of companies would agree to that. Or do you tell them that you only intend to work for their company for 6 months and then you quit? Or you don't say anything and you just go in there and accept the job knowing that in your heart you're going to quit in 6 months, but you don't tell the owners? Like, how does that work? But actually, if we're talking about driving, I really do enjoy driving long distances by myself. I would much rather do that than be giving people rides, having poopy pants in the back, having to clean the seats every week, people tip baiting on Uber, saying that they're gonna pay this tip and then they don't tip, like all that kind of BS, man. And wearing down my car, like yeah, I mean, so basically, I drove from Billings to Missoula. I think it was on Friday or Saturday. And I originally told myself that I was just going to take one day off once I got here. Uh, but I decided to take the whole week off, and I'm just kind of decompressing, and it's nice. This is like the happiest I've been since I've been in America because I just haven't really stressed myself out about working, and I've really enjoyed spending the days at my own pace. Usually in the late afternoon or evening, I go on a hike. I go up hiking in these mountains actually. Come back, eat dinner, make dinner, relax, watch some shows. Like, life is just wonderful. Like, I love living in my car and living for cheap here in America. America is like a decent place if you don't have to worry about making money. It's a nice place. It's clean, it's organized. You can get anything you want. You have some of the best food in the world. So I love it. I just hate working, you know?